Hey, what's up, Clashers? Welcome to the top 3 OP most amazing Town Hall 12 attacks. One by one, I'm gonna start off with my favorite, which is also a ring-based killer, the Witch BoBat attack. That works for Town Hall 12 and Town Hall 11. Since we started using it about half a year ago, our clan just didn't know how to lose wars anymore. Just look at this war log. It's so easy to use that even your average players will be able to rock. And here's the army compositions. You got your 9 giants on your first layer of meat shields, followed by 10 witches and 15 bowlers. You have your ice golem as the extra icing, 4 freezes, 7 bat spells, and in your CC, you got the ice golem as well as the Pekka. Now let's find a match and see how this will go. Bats really hate Mega Teslas, the Eagle, these are the top 2, followed by Multi Infernos and Wiz Towers. So our goal here is to see where do we go in order to wipe out as many as those buildings as we can right off the bat before we launch our bats. Let's go from the top, a layer of giants, followed by a layer of witches, then a layer of bowlers, then drop your ice golem, and then your wall wrecker, and then everything. It is that simple. That's why even the worst player in the world can become a champ just because of this strategy. It is actually pretty brainless. Now I've dropped all my heroes. Now notice that what you want to make sure here is that your wall wrecker will keep moving forward until your army can reach the town hall. That is crucial. Other than that, everything is piece of cake. Now let's destroy more threats to our bats. So we got that Wiz Tower, another one. We're about to head to that multi. Let's keep a good eye on the wall wrecker. We want to make sure that single will not kill it. Looks like we're really close to it, so we're good. Town hall opened. Now we're ready to use our warden's ability soon, and here we go. So we got the town hall, we got the eagle, we got a lot of the Wiz Towers, no more multi. We are good to go. We got 4 freezes as backup. Therefore, let's launch our bats here. And look at that. Our bats will start wiping the entire base so quickly, so easily. Look at that. You want to make sure that your bats will grow fat and strong right off the bat, so you don't want lots of expos or things like that shooting at it at the beginning. But once it's thick like that, it will just destroy everything in one shot. And look at my freezes. I didn't even get to use my freezes. In the case that you have more multi-infernos left or more Wiz Towers left, that's where you will use your freezes. Typically, I would use more than that. Maybe I just got lucky here. And if you look at their bats are so fast and quick, that's why we barely need any cleanup crew. And here we go. We're heading to the last 2 buildings, and then it will be a perfect 3 stars, 100%. Ta-da! That was just a snippet of a video that I made previously for a tutorial on which BoBat attack. If you want to learn the very details of it, link is at the description. Now, I just used the same attack at war and see how I did with this witch BoBat attack. First, let's identify the main targets. You must absolutely destroy the eagle and a town hall before you're allowed to launch your bats. And along the way, and that's exactly why I started my army there, you want to take as many multis and Wiz Towers as possible. The amount of Wiz Towers and Multi Infernos left before you're allowed to launch your bats must equal or less than the amount of freezes you have. Does that make sense? Because you can freeze them along the way, but if you have more than the amount of freeze you have, your bats will not survive. Now this attack in the first half, you must absolutely focus, concentrate on your wall wrecker. The wall wrecker must allow your troop to reach the town hall and the eagle along the way, just like what we did here. Alright, and look, notice this is a ring type of base, and this army works really well with that because it self-funnels, because of the way we spread the armies. Warden's ability has been used. We're gonna destroy that Giga Tesla, and we should be pretty good after that. Meanwhile, we know that that got destroyed, so let's take a look at this situation. How many multis and Wiz do we have? There's only 2 Wiz Towers left. That means we are good. We have 4 freezes, so let's launch our bats somewhere. So I've picked the west side. I've launched all my bats at once. You want them to be at once. You don't want them to split. Keep them as close to each other as possible, and make sure that they grow fat and big at the very beginning, as early as possible. That is when you make good use of that. And look at that, we've already finished the game, and this is war. There's no more defenses. And with bats, because they're super quick, you don't really need cleanup crew, okay? You might have one or two just because you have an outstanding army, but with bats, you don't care as much when it comes to cleanup crew compared to like a Loon attack where there's extremely slow, you need cleanup crew for that. And here you go, that's the Witch BoBat attack, absolutely OP for Town Hall 12 and Town Hall 11. In case you're new to CS Clash, make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow my page on Facebook for more trendy and amazing Clash of Clans strategies, quality videos. Let's do one more for this one, and I also have a link at the description for this Witch BoBat attack for Town Hall 12, which will tell you the step-by-step, the details, the tips and tricks of this attack, how to master this attack. Please have a look. Oh, look at this base here. I'm glad we landed on this, which is a very popular base. A lot of people have trouble with it. But with our Witch BoBat attack, this is nothing. And you will see that. Let's identify our biggies. So we've got the Eagle and the Town Hall. So it's obvious where we're going to launch our wall wrecker. And the Wiz Towers are a bunch are very close to that path. So we're going to get a bunch of Wiz Towers. There are no multis. So this attack is going to be so easy. So my Giants are my second layer of Witches. And then my third layer of Bowlers. Let me drop all my wall breakers there. Just to open it up. Dropped all the rest of my stuff. So I've launched my Wall Wrecker. First part of this attack, we want to make sure your wall wrecker will survive all the way to opening up those walls for our troops, our ground troops, to reach the town hall. We've got the Eagle, and now we're gonna head for the Tesla, the Giga Tesla. We've got some of the witches. Also, bats are very afraid of tornado. You want to make sure that you, as much as you can, enable that. But fortunately, most of the tornado traps, usually people put it around the town hall. So it's probably around there. If you know this base, it's likely somewhere there. So we're going to activate that. So there you go. The tornado has been activated. So let's launch all our bats all at once. And because that is a single inferno, it's not even a threat. If it's a multi, you must freeze it. But it's a single, don't worry about it. Now our bats are growing bigger and bigger because our queen is tanking some of that. There isn't too much there, so we've already frozen that area, and I've put a rage there. Let's freeze that Wiz Tower so it cannot hurt us. So just in case, no, I didn't put another one there. Okay, so let's, and usually I really hate double expos as well. And since we got so many, we got a freeze left for nothing, let's get that. Alright, so we've got everything done, so it's just cleanup time. So guys, this base is actually very easy. Also, during cleanup time, if you have extra cleanup crew, which normally you don't, but if you do, make sure you prioritize your cleanup crew on storages, because your bats are nerfed against the storages. That means they don't deal as much damage as any other units. Look at that. Look at that storage. It's gonna take one shot, no, 2 shots, 3 shots, 4 shots, I don't know how many shots, but it's gonna waste a lot of time. So if there are any exposed storage and you happen to have cleanup crew, go for those storages instead of distant non-storage unit. And if you look at the link down below in the description for which BoBat attack, I will explain all of that in detail as well. But this Witch BoBat attack is not as strong against bases where the Eagle and the Town Hall are really far apart. And this brings us to our next OP attack, the Yeti Pekka BoBat attack, which will complement our Witch BoBat attack's weakness. Let's take a look at the army composition. I got my 7 bowlers for splashes, my Yeti for the bouncy balls, my 4 Pekkas. You can trade your Pekkas for more Yetis, but I like to have some Pekkas for funneling purpose. My 4 healers, my 6 bats, 3 freezes. I got my jump just in case, and you're gonna see that. My CC has the Pekka and the Ice Golem. Now, this strategy also worked for Town Hall 11. You'll just have to switch your Yetis for Pekka. And in your CC, you will turn that Ice Golem into more Giants because you don't have enough space for the Pekka and the Ice Golem. And here's our first base. So what you're looking for here is, where's the Eagle? Where's the Town Hall? Look for the spot of entrance so that you can use your wall wrecker and your troop laser through the base. As you go through the town hall, you want to take that Eagle down as well. So funneling is extremely important for this type of attack. So you can always funnel with your Pekka. I like to start off with my Grand Warden. A Grand Warden walk. With a Grand Warden walk, you can always redirect him back to where you want him to go once the funnel is done. You cannot do that with the arrogant queen. She'll just go wherever she wants. My first Pekka Pablo is already funneling down, and now I'm gonna drop the rest of my troop right behind my wall wrecker. notice that my Grand Warden will just follow that troop, and that's why I like Grand Warden Walk for the start. You want to make sure that your wall wrecker will go as deep as possible, and typically I use this Yeti Pekka BoBat attack when the Eagle and the Town Hall are really far apart, and for that same reason I have a jump spell ready just in case my wall wrecker does not make it. It looks like we will make it, so I already dropped my jump spell to redirect that other portion of my troop back as much as possible. I'm hoping the Warden and the Queen can get back to the core and show some support, and it's not happening, but no worries. Ability! And the ice has also exploded. Looks like we're gonna get this Town Hall, and kaboom! Now our bats can start to get ready. Or maybe we can wait a little bit. It's got only 3, no, there's only 2 Wiz Towers left, but we got 3 freezes, so we're comfy. Let's find a good launching spot where our ground troop is tanking. So right there. So you want a spot like this so that the ground troop is tanking the initial launch as much as possible, so that our group of bats can grow fat and big as early as possible. That's when they will be the most, while talking to you guys, that thing shot my group of bats. But it's all good, it's a comfy one. We still have 1 freeze left that we can shoot at that last Wiz Tower. Oh gosh, it went the other way. That was not the most perfect freeze management, but our ground troop did a really good job, so we're not too worried about finishing this off. We still got a cleanup crew, our 2 Wizard William and Wally, and our 2 archers Serafina and Henna to help us out. But the Queen alone will probably finish this off because we haven't used her ability yet. So guys, after this, let's talk a little bit about what this strategy is not good against before we watch more Yeti Pekka BoBat. Let me just drop the rest of my cleaning crew just so that I don't need to figure who to retrain. There we go. And that was also a snippet of a previous video that I made on Yeti Pekka BoBat. So if you want to master this strategy, you definitely have to look at this video. Link down below on the description. Yeti Pekka BoBat. But I'm going to do a little bit more here. So let's take a look at this composition again. It's slightly different. I just changed the jump spell for an extra freeze and for an extra bat. Usually that's how I feel a little bit more confident on, depending on the base. So if you get to scout ahead, like at war, then you can decide for yourself. Do you need that extra jump? Is that Town Hall really that hard to reach? That's a Town Hall 13. Let's go for more of a Town Hall 12. So this Town Hall 12, crappy walls. But it's got, okay, so, but this is a really good example for Yeti Pekka BoBat because it's really hard to reach a Town Hall with your wall wrecker if you have to go through the Eagle side. And that's why the path is so long, and Yeti Pekka BoBat is the choice because it will laser through that base. So it's worth to use this base. To give an example, so I dropped my Warden again for the Warden Walk. My healers are down for the Warden Walk. So what I'm trying to here is I'm gonna cut off a path there. So I want to get into the second layer and get their Warden statue. Okay, so meanwhile, let me check. Okay, so I'm gonna get that Warden statue so I can really cut off that path so that my army can stay the same, because this one is a little bit open. It's a little bit hard for the Yeti Pekka BoBat when you cannot really funnel your troops. Funneling is very important. So I've just triggered the CC on the other side, so it's a bunch of loons. So I'm probably gonna zap them once they are all together. Oh, they kind of split it, but I'm probably, oh, they got back together. I'm probably gonna zap them with my 2 whizzes that were originally meant for cleaning up, but we're gonna be flexible here. So I've dropped my wall wrecker, so we're lasering through the base right now. So our goal is to reach that Town Hall, destroy that Town Hall, but we also need to destroy that Eagle before we can launch our bat. So these are very fundamental. And look at that, I'm shooting at the balloons right now. So our wall wrecker has gone in 3 layers deep, and it looks like we might, okay, look at that single trying to kill my queen. So I'll just let it auto shoot. Usually I'm more cautious than that. Okay, now, very large focus on this wall wrecker, and why this wall wrecker works with the ice golem and the Pekka in there. Usually in a one-on-one situation, as in a wall wrecker versus this Town Hall, definitely we will win. But even with the extra X-bow shooting at us, and we still got it, and that's how amazing, and that's why we have this composition in our wall wrecker. Now I've just dropped all my bats on the east side. The reason being that I want to use my Warden's ability that I realize I haven't used yet. So freeze on a bunch of those Teslas so I don't have too many bats dying all at once there. And I've got enough freezes anyway. Why did I drop that? That was actually an accident. So another one. So let's get that Wiz Tower. And oh, I have dropped my last freeze way too early. So that might get me. I might lose all my bats, if not half of them. Okay, there you go. I lost about half my bats, but that's fine because we are done. So cleanup time, again guys, remember if you have extra troops that you can launch for cleanup time during a bat attack, like I said earlier, launch at storages, okay? Not at the distant non-storage building, because our bats are nerfed against storages. Look at that, it takes forever for bats to take that. It would have been a one-shot-ish max for any other building. Look at that, right? So let's have the same crew. Okay, that's not a good example. Next one, a fully held. Oh, that was not fully held, but you see, those are one shot. That's your Yeti Pekka BoBat. I feel we should do the last one with this Yeti Pekka BoBat attack before we move on to our last amazing attack. It's the same composition. I've added my jump spell back. I've added the Loon for cleanup instead of an extra Wiz and an Archer. Okay, so let's take a look at this base here. Remember what we need, right? So we need to get the Town Hall, the Eagle, absolutely, and get as much Wiz and multi along the side. Okay, this one's got 2 multi, so we definitely need to get to the end. And this is a really good example of why we need to the Yeti Pekka BoBat again, because it's a long way to have our wall record to go all the way through the Town Hall by also reaching the Eagle at the same time. So I've started funneling with my Warden Walk on the top left. He's gonna take us a little bit of time here, so you're gonna time it so that when you put your Pekkas on the other side, your Pekkas won't be too early and then drag your Warden back to the core troop before you want it to. And here's a storage. Usually I hate storages when it comes to Warden Walk because it takes forever and you might run out of time. I'm not gonna wait, it's getting late. I've dropped my 3 Pekkas, Pablo, Patrick, and Peter, the famous 3 musketeers fighting on the other side, funneling along with my Warden so we can create a path at the top from the north side. So we're gonna get that Archer Tower. I've dropped all my Yetis, my wall wrecker, and now my heroes, and finally all my bowlers. I like to drop my bowlers last typically because they're the most fragile, so it makes sense for them to stay a little bit behind. And here we go, we have the Eagle aiming at our king, which is actually a good news. And now focus on our wall wrecker. We want it to go as deep as possible. I've dropped a freeze on that single Inferno because I wanted to protect my wall wrecker, but it was actually not shooting at my wall wrecker. It was a little bit too messy, so I wasn't sure. Better be safe than sorry. So we're getting closer and closer. We're getting the Eagle, we're getting that Queen. So it looks like our wall wrecker is doing a good job, still healthy at half health. And while we're getting to the core, we're getting to that Town Hall. We have finished all the multi-Infernos. In fact, we've finished all the Infernos. Now we're getting that Town Hall. And we got it. We also got that Eagle. So that means it's time that we drop our bats. All dropped on the west side where they can grow fat and big quickly because there's nothing shooting at them except maybe that one Archer Tower, but the rest are being tanked by my ground troop. And again guys, that's exactly why this Yeti Pekka BoBat is amazing for lasering through a base where the wall wrecker has hard time reaching the Town Hall. You see how we laser into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers to get to Town Hall and everything else, and I've also made good use of that last jump spell so that we can get a little bit further down. So now at this point I've dropped my Wizard Wally to get that storage. If you remember why, because bats are nerfed against storages. That's why they might need a little bit extra help there if you have the extra units, but if not, don't worry about it because our bats will be able to clean up the rest of the base very quickly, and for that reason typically you may not even need cleanup crew when it comes to bats attack. Guys, if you want to master this strategy, look at the link down below on the description. This is the Yeti Pekka BoBat attack, super OP for Town Hall 12. Now let's move on into our next one. But make sure you subscribe and follow if you haven't yet. And now our next one is an air attack. It's the Lava Loon for Town Hall 12. But this attack also works all the way down to Town Hall 9. I've been doing this with a lot of success for many years as a leader. I have a PhD in the Loons. You can absolutely trust me on this attack, on this composition here. Troops, you might change a little bit. If you can scout the base ahead, you might want to add an extra baby drag if you want to funnel the queen walk. And yes, we're going to be using the queen walk. Some like to have 5 healers. I'm okay with 4. You may or may not want extra or less wall breakers. But the spells composition, keep it as is, please. Especially the 6 hastes. Don't change them for rages. And you will see why. You will have a lot more success with 6 hastes, not rage. They are not the same. They are very different for loons. Loons needs haste, not rage, and I will tell you why. So let's search for our next opponent. When we're doing this type of attack, 2 things you want to ensure. You want to destroy the clan castle, and you want to kill their queen. Have those 2 completed before launching the loons. That's already 90% success, okay? So let's take a look at this space here. Let's identify them. So we've got the queen and this clan castle near the town hall. So I'm probably gonna have my queen walk go from the south towards that queen, towards their queen. Okay, so let me put my queen down. So I'm gonna go there. This is actually Town Hall 13, but they don't have scatter shots, so it's fine. I'm really just worried about the scatter shots, actually, and also the royal champ. So I'm probably, actually, let me get that. Okay, so we've got in. So let me put down my king there. Hopefully my king is gonna slowly walk towards the royal champ and kill her. Okay, so let's pay attention to a queen here right now. So we've got some down. Okay, we've got the queen. Okay, always get the queen and get the clan castle before you launch your loons for Town Hall 12. No compromise. Don't exchange that for an eagle or anything like that. That's very important. Okay, so it looks like we're gonna get that royal champ. Let me change the SS. As my queen is approaching the town hall, sorry, the clan castle, I think I'm just gonna drop my troops. I feel that is an empty clan castle anyway. Okay, so notice the way that I put my loons. I put in a wall format just so that the air mines will not hit too many at once. But most importantly, I would launch them on one side of the queen. Okay, either on the left side or the right side, counterclockwise or clockwise. Okay, we've got to the town hall. Ability is on, and we got that town hall. So we've got the town hall. There is no CC. We got the queen. It's pretty much a 95% win right here. Our queen walk is still alive, so I would say it's 99% win right now. We still have our stone slammer on. Look at that. All right, more loons. At this point, it's really just cleaning up. I know I still got that expo, that archer, and that last archer on the north side. But other than that, my loons, there are no more threats to my loons. It's all about cleanup. So I'm putting all my minions down. So it's really important that you have a good cleanup crew and make sure that they're flying, because this is an air attack. We have already activated all the air traps, but not the ground ones. So it makes more sense for you to use minions. And the way that I launch my loons right next to the queen also ensure that we're not going to leave any defenses behind for my loons to go back and forth. And I have always wanted to do this. We cannot afford the loons to slowly crawl all the way back to another side of the base to take an outstanding defense. And that's exactly why I launched my loons the way I did, a loon wall right next to the queen wall. This way, you will ensure that you maximize the coverage and not leave any defense behind. Our loons will always be moving forward. Here's an easy 3 stars. And that was also a snippet of a video that I made previously for Town Hall 12 on La Loons. If you want to see the rest of the video for amazing tips and tricks, link down below on the descriptions for La Loon. Now we're searching for our next opponent. And also, I'd like to explain why haste over rage. Town Hall 12, you know, in Titans, it's mostly Town Hall 13. That's my problem. And this is a Town Hall 12 video, so I'll try to find a Town Hall 12, but we will have to compromise in case that we find a Town Hall 13 that don't have scatter shots. Okay, so this one is a no. But why haste over rage? It's because haste is faster than rage. Haste take less slots than rage. And every groups of 3 to 4 balloons, let's look at this one. So this one is a Town Hall 13. It's got all the heroes up. The scatter shots are down below, so I think I can take down those scatter shots pretty easily. So let's do this one. So if I can do a Town Hall 13 with scatter shots, although they are laid down at the bottom, that could be taken down easily. You should be able to do a Town Hall 12. And in Town Hall 13, you also have to take down a Royal Champ. I keep forgetting that. So here we go. Because it's Titan, it's always Town Hall 13. Let's do a Town Hall 13 with our Town Hall 12 army. So I took down a Royal Champ. Under Rage, best time to put your Wall Breaker. And that's that Queen down as well. So our game is almost over. Well, not really. So that CC is empty, but we would have gotten the CC with our Queen Walk anyway. So make sure you always get your CC and the Queen before anything, before launching a Loon. So I've already dropped my King down below to take down the scatter shots. Once they're down, I'm pretty sure this is going to be 3 stars. Because that's the amount, the level of confidence you should have when doing Loons. Loons are amazing. This type of attack does not necessarily work for Town Hall 13 except for a base like this where I can shape it back to a Town Hall 12. So now I've dropped my Loons counterclockwise from the Queen. Again, I do a Loon wall so that air mines cannot take too many of my Loons at once, but also because by doing that, my Loons will definitely cover most of the defenses and won't have to go back and forth at the end of the game because they're so slow, we cannot afford that. Lots of haste there, and again, every groups of 3 to 4 Loons can probably one-shot down any buildings anyway. Well, let's get that Town Hall first. Abilities on from my, oh, did I press this too early? Oh, I pressed that too early. Oh, I got the boom. Lost some Loons there, probably, but we probably still got this given that we still have a bunch of Loons and we still have our Queen Walk remaining. Our Queen Walks is extremely important. Back to the topic. 3 to 4 Loons can probably one-shot any building. Most of the building, I'd say 80 to 90% of the buildings can be one-shot by a bunch of Loons, 3 to 4 in a group. So that extra power given to you by the Rage, it's useless. So you might as well get a Haste, because Haste, it's much faster than Rage. Also, Haste takes only 1 slot, while Rage takes 2 slots. So for balloons, you want to make sure you want to use Haste and not Rage. My Rage there is for my Queen Walk, not for my Loons. I might use on my Loons if I have extra ones as bonus, but typically don't use Rage on balloons when you can use Haste. So there you go, we've finished the game. Although I clicked on my Warden, and this is a Town Hall 13 with scatter shots, with Royal Champ, and I still took it down with my Town Hall 12 Loon army. So you have no excuse to not be rocking with this Loon strategy against Town Hall 12 opponents. So I guess this is it, guys. These are your top 3 best strategies in Town Hall 12. They work extremely well for me at Town Hall 12 for war, for farming, for whatever. Please make good use of it. So guys, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. Follow CS Clash on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, comment down below on what you'd like to see next, what you like or dislike about the video. I'll definitely respond. Thank you so much for your time. I'll see you next time.